Hey guys, it's Tom here from ProDirect Running. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be taking a first look at one of the wackiest running shoe releases of recent times. It's the Puma Fast Forward. Before we get into it, if you are looking forward to finding out about this weird and wonderful shoe, then please do drop us a like, subscribe to the channel and turn your bell notifications on so you never miss a future upload. Now, Puma have come out of the woodwork a little bit recently with some real top tier contenders in the super shoe space, namely the Fast R Nitro Elite that I've got in my hands here, and the DV8 Nitro Elite and DV8 Nitro Elite 2 that were seen on the feet of Molly Seidel when she got her bronze medal at the Olympics, and also our very own Rose Harvey, who came home as first Brit at last year's London Marathon in the DV8 Nitro Elite 2. However, both of these offerings are definitely catered more towards the longer distances on the road, so we're talking your half and full marathon. However, the Fast Forward comes into that new breed of super shoes dedicated more towards shorter distances on the road and your fastest speed sessions. In fact, the Fast Forward actually came directly from insights from the Puma athletes that they gave back to the product team, saying that they wanted something that felt a little bit like a spike, but with the protective properties and with the option to wear it on the road for those shorter sessions. Puma answered in a big way, and this is obviously a shoe with a lot going on. So without further ado, let's dive into some of the key stats and features of the Puma Fast Forward. We should probably start off by talking about the most outrageous component of the Fast Forward, which is obviously its midsole. As I mentioned, this shoe is definitely dedicated more towards your 5Ks and 10Ks on the road, and to be honest, even an all-out mile would be a good fit for it. So with that being said, moving the shoe around in hand, you can see quite how dramatic the tooling of this midsole is. And essentially, when you're running at those faster paces, so 5K pace and potentially even quicker, you're almost definitely going to be up on your mid to forefoot. And so Puma have got away with any foam that isn't necessary in those areas. That's why we've got such a dramatic fall off on the heel and right at the very tip of the forefoot. And it's why when you flip the shoe over, we've got such a chasm in the center of the outsole. As far as the actual foam is concerned in the Fast Forward, we've got Puma's Nitro foam as a core, which just adds a little bit more robustness and stability to the shoe, but the rest of it is full-length Puma Nitro Elite foam. However, it is a slightly firmer formulation of it than compared to what you might see on the Fast R. Ultimately then, having a little bit of a firmer feel underfoot just further aids with that responsive sensation, and really, compared to a marathon shoe where you're going to want a little bit of a softer feeling underfoot, you're just going to get a lightning quick transition with the Fast Forward. Running throughout the midsole, we have got a full-length carbon fiber power plate, which you can see sticking out underneath here. However, similar to what I mentioned with the foam of the Fast Forward, we have got a slight alteration in the shape and rigidity of the carbon plate that you find in this shoe when compared to something like the Fast R or the Nitro Elite 2. In order to avoid having a really harsh ride in the Fast Forward with such an aggressive geometry, the plate is much more malleable and flexible than what you might find in other carbon plated shoes on the market. So it's actually pretty easy to bend in many different directions. And if you're on a course which has got lots of tight corners and you're running at 5K pace, this is definitely going to help. When it comes to the upper of the Fast Forward, there's not too much to mention. Obviously, we've got a really nice stripped back design to keep it as light as possible, but we do have a really nice amount of reinforcement thanks to power tape and a power band on both the lateral and medial sides of the shoe. And as you can see, the heel counter itself is almost non-existent. So we've got the addition of maybe one of my favorite features of the Fast Forward, this little fin on the back, which obviously is not going to aid too much when it comes to aerodynamics at the sort of speed that you or I are running at, but it does just add a bit more structure and rigidity to that heel counter so it doesn't flop around and fall down, and it also helps to achieve a nice solid lockdown. The laces are also quite funky on the Fast Forward, and essentially what you'll find of this kind of crossover design is that it will just create a really nice amount of closure and security over the top of the foot to keep you feeling locked in and ready to race, which is exactly what this shoe is intended for. The tongue isn't gusseted, but it is really thin as you might expect, but we do have a really nice little pod of cushioning on the top of the foot, again just to avoid those laces applying any unnecessary pressure. So as a shoe which is catered towards those shorter distances, we obviously want that weight to be at an absolute minimum. And in the Puma Fast Forward, in a men's sample size, you're looking at about 191 grams, and in a women's sample size, 157 grams. So extremely lightweight and right up there on the scales against its competitors. And lastly, on the topic of numbers, we've got a 36mm stack height in the Fast Forward at the heel, and then 27 in the forefoot. Obviously, they're taking the measurement from slightly further down on the forefoot here rather than right up on the toes, but it's nice that you've still got a solid amount of foam underfoot. Taking a look at the outsole, we've got a thin but still fairly substantial coverage of Puma grip here. Puma grip has always been praised for being really grippy and durable and having fantastic traction in all weather conditions, and I don't see why you could expect anything different with the Fast Forward. In conclusion then, this is definitely a bit more of a niche running shoe. This is not a running shoe that you're going to be jogging in, running easy in, or even doing your warm-ups and cool-downs as part of a session in. This shoe is built for all-out speed, and that is exactly what you should be using it for. This bad boy should absolutely be reserved for your fastest training sessions, maybe up to 8 to 10K in volume, 400s, 200s, 800s, K reps, something like that, and obviously your 5K and 10K races. I think in recent times, we've really seen the super shoe market diversify, and we're not just looking at a carbon plated shoe for a single purpose, and we've now got all of these different nuances. So I do think that for the discerning runner who needs something like this in their arsenal, the Puma Fast Forward is definitely worth having a look at. But that's going to do it for this first look at the Puma Fast Forward. I'm sure you can agree it is a mental shoe, so let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Drop us a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on to never miss a future running shoe review. If you're looking to get your feet in a pair, you can do so right now in very limited quantities at Pro Direct Running.